guys, happy Wellness Wednesday. We are back with another Wellness Wednesday training to fit in with our month all about mental health and how food can be a really powerful tool to help to boost your mental health as well. So today what we're doing is we're actually talking about the 4 happy hormones and what you can do to really help to increase these happy hormones so that not only your body but also your mind can be elevated too. So, first up, we got to talk about what the happy hormones actually are. You've probably heard this term before, and I find that the easiest way to remember the 4 happy hormones is with the acronym DOSE, DOSE, which stands for dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins. So, we're going to go over each of these 4 happy hormones and what you can do to help to increase these every single day. So let's start with the D, which is dopamine. This is the reward hormone. So basically, every time you achieve a goal, no matter how big or how small it is, you release a little bit of dopamine. Now, the more that you achieve, the more dopamine can be released. So, to hack this hormone, what we want to do is actually 2 things, and this applies to all 4 of the happy hormones that we're talking about today. We're going to speak about the tangibles and the intangibles. So, by tangibles, I'm referring to nutrition and the specific foods or vitamins or nutrients that your body needs to make sure it has enough energy to produce these hormones at the adequate levels. And by intangibles, I'm talking about the daily practices, the things that you can do each and every day to practice elevating these 4 happy hormones. So, going back to dopamine, let's look at both the tangibles and the intangibles. So, tangibles, referring to food. We are going to look at all different kinds of food that really help to give your body the nutrients it needs to produce enough dopamine. Now, what's really interesting about dopamine specifically, as opposed to all the other hormones that we're talking about today, is that dopamine can actually be released from every type of food that you eat, even the high fat, high sugar foods that we know can contribute to decreasing health, especially when you're consuming those things at high levels and or for a long period of time. So instead, what we want to do is really look at the foods that can increase dopamine that also have a positive benefit on the body the longer that you consume them. So we want to look at lean proteins, whether they're animal proteins or plant-based proteins like beans and legumes, especially things that are rich in omega-3s. So these are your anti-inflammatory fatty acids such as salmon and mackerel. These are fantastic options for omega-3s, as well as looking at those nutrient-dense fruits and vegetables. So really primarily what we're looking at for dopamine production is lots of unprocessed, high nutrient foods. In addition, for all hormones, we know that we want to have healthy fats. That helps to produce and synthesize hormones. So we're looking at things like nuts and seeds. And of course, we want to look at things that can help to elevate gut health. Now, I'm going to be talking about gut health a little bit later on, but specifically for dopamine, probiotic rich foods are very powerful. So we're looking at things like yogurt with active cultures, kimchi, kefir, kombucha, sauerkraut. These are all probiotic rich foods. And of course, if you want to take a supplement, that's also a really great recommendation too. So that is the tangibles, the nutrition side of things to help to boost to dopamine. Let's move on to your intangibles. Now we talked about how dopamine is the goal hormone. It's the reward hormone that gets produced every time you achieve a goal. So obviously what you want to do is to make sure you're setting yourself daily achievable goals and actually achieving them. So a really simple thing that you can do if you're using that non-negotiables approach is having 3 to 5 things that you know that you're going to do every single day and making sure you get those done as early as possible. The reason why I say as early as possible is because we tend to have the most energy first thing in the morning to get things done. And so, especially if this resonates with you, aim to get those 3 to 5 things done, whether it is taking your vitamins, drinking that first glass of water to make sure that you're staying hydrated, whether it's meditation. It could also be things like getting in 30 minutes of exercise, doing something creative, reading a book, having a bath, getting out into nature. There's so many things that can really help to boost our dopamine. And the key here is to make sure you are achieving it every single day. Now let's move on to the O of the acronym DOSE, which is oxytocin. So this is one of the hormones I talk about a lot because of the hormone hierarchy. And if you've been in any one of my trainings for my video programs, you'll know that the hormone hierarchy is one of the most powerful things to know as you continue with your hormone journey. At the very top of the hierarchy is oxytocin, which is our love hormone, also known as the cuddle hormone or the connection hormone. And we really want to boost this oxytocin on a daily basis because it does have a huge ripple effect on the other hormones in the body, such as stress, insulin, which is also a hormone, as well as the sex hormones, estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone. So, how do you actually boost oxytocin from a nutrition standpoint? We're going to look at the tangibles once again. So, I'm going to share with you 4 specific nutrients and vitamins that are really powerful for boosting oxytocin. If we're not having these vitamins or minerals, then our body doesn't have the energy to produce oxytocin at the levels that we need. So, the first is vitamin D. I'm sure you've heard vitamin D can come from sunshine, and you can also get it from various foods like the fatty fish that we talked about earlier, such as salmon and mackerel. Mushrooms are a great option, eggs, as well as any foods that might be a little bit more refined, but they say that they're fortified with vitamin D. What that basically means is during the refining process, they add in a vitamin D supplement to those particular foods. And of course, a supplement that is just vitamin D alone or contains vitamin D can also be really helpful here too. The second nutrient, or vitamin I should say, is vitamin C. So we know that vitamin C comes from citrus fruits, but did you know it also comes from peppers of all different colors, especially the red, orange, and yellow? Tomatoes and broccoli are actually very high in vitamin C. So make sure you're taking that vitamin C on a regular basis because any excess vitamin C simply comes out through urine output. Number 3 is magnesium. I love talking about magnesium because it's so powerful for relaxing the body and all of its muscles, as well as being required for the receptor of oxytocin to function well. So you can get different forms of magnesium, and the ones through food, you want to really focus on the foods that are like spinach or dark leafy greens, pumpkins, pumpkin seeds, avocados, and dark chocolate are fantastic options for magnesium. Now, if you're looking at a supplement, there's various forms of magnesium that you can look into, whether it is a capsule or a spray, as well as typically magnesium glycinate and magnesium bisglycinate are really powerful for its absorption and can be absorbed, generally speaking, for most people very quickly into the body. And the fourth and final nutrient to really help with oxytocin are those healthy fats once again. So those fatty fish, if you don't like them, also remember any kinds of nuts and seeds or their associated nut and seed butters are really great for healthy fats. Aim for 1 to 2 tablespoons per meal. And in addition to that, also think about other things that you might not realize are healthy fats or contain healthy fats, such as coconut or anything containing coconut, coconut oil. You might also look at those salad dressings that are typically made with extra virgin olive oil or might be made with a different kind of oil such as sesame oil too. So that's the intangibles. Let's move on to that was the tangibles. Let's move on to the intangibles. And one of the things I love to share with people when it comes to boosting oxytocin is that it's literally anything that helps you to have that warm, fuzzy feeling inside. So this could mean hugging someone or a pet for greater than 20 seconds, playing fetch with your dog, doing little toys with your cats, giving yourself or others compliments is also a really powerful tool for boosting oxytocin, as well as showing affection to someone else or doing something nice for them. So this is a really helpful practice to get into, and that is writing down the things that boost your oxytocin. So typically with my clients, I recommend write down a big list of all the things that boost your oxytocin, whether they be things that you have to go out of the house to do and pay a little bit of money for, or things you can do inside the house, such as listening to your favorite songs, listening to your favorite podcast, watching your favorite movie, having a nap, having a bath. All those things are really fantastic as long as you know what they are, because inevitably what will happen is you'll have a pretty rough day and you'll think, actually, I'm understanding I need to boost my oxytocin, one of my feel-good hormones. What can I do? And referring to that list that you've already created can be really helpful to get you back on track. Okay, let's move on to the S of our acronym DOSE, and that is serotonin. So serotonin is our good mood hormone, and it's actually produced primarily in the gut. About 80 to 90% of serotonin is estimated to be produced from a healthy gut. Now, if your gut is not optimized in terms of your gut health and your microbiome, then obviously less serotonin is produced. So, what can you do to boost both your gut health and your serotonin production? Well, we're going to look first and foremost at the foods that we're eating, those tangibles once again. So, eggs, cheese, tofu, salmon, nuts and seeds, and turkey all contain something called tryptophan. And tryptophan is used to create serotonin in the body. What's really cool is in addition to these lean proteins and healthy fats, there are a couple of produce items that actually have serotonin in them. One of them is tomatoes. So when tomatoes are fresh and continuing to ripen, the amount of serotonin actually increases. With pineapples, when they're fresh, they're actually high in serotonin, although the amount of serotonin in them don't actually increase as they continue to ripen. So keep in mind those lean proteins, healthy fats, and the tomatoes and pineapples specifically for serotonin production and just boosting your serotonin on a daily basis. In addition, we're going back to probiotics. So we want to boost that gut health. Whether it is a probiotic supplement or a fermented food that you're having on a daily basis, probiotics are really important to continue to boost that good gut bacteria. So when you're looking at a probiotic supplement, what we want to do is make sure we have at least 30 billion CFUs or colony forming units in the supplement per capsule or per serving size, and to make sure it has multiple strains of bacteria. This is simply helping to boost that good gut microbiome. And so I use those things as a generalization, as a recommendation for people that we've not yet done any kind of gut testing on. So do keep that in mind. And as well with the fermented foods, just like we talked about earlier, kimchi, kefir, sauerkraut, also yogurt with the active bacteria in it as well. Make sure to check the back of the packaging to ensure it does have probiotics in it. These will all help to boost your gut health. Now let's go on to the intangibles to boost your serotonin. It's things like walking in nature, being outside, enjoying the sunshine, as well as different kinds of movement that you feel really suit yourself and your body and where you're at in the season right now. So it could be yoga, meditation, swimming, walking, Pilates, yoga, anything like that. You get to choose which intangibles really fill your proverbial cup and boost that feel-good hormone. Okay, the last one in our DOSE acronym is endorphins. Now, this is a pain reliever hormone. It also regulates the nervous system, specifically that fight or flight instinct. And you probably know I talk a lot about being in fight or flight, or in the opposite, which is the rest and digest phase. So we do need endorphins and those pain reliever hormones to get us out of that fight or flight instinct. Now, endorphins can actually flood your body when you're doing something scary, or it can even happen when you're experiencing something scary, such as a movie, like a horror movie. And also, really interestingly, is that endorphins are boosted with spicy food. So, this really leads us into how we boost endorphins on a regular basis. And obviously, from spicy food, it's the capsaicin in the peppers that releases endorphins. But if you don't like spicy food, that's okay because chocolate is a really powerful endorphin booster too. A 2009 study actually showed that chocolate in reasonable quantities can increase your cognitive function, it can increase calmness, and actually reduce your mental fatigue. So another good reason to eat chocolate, in addition to dark chocolate being a great source of magnesium. Once again, those healthy fats are popping up here to help to boost your endorphins. So nuts and seeds, avocados, a great source of unrefined healthy fats. They can also contain calcium, which can help to reduce anxiety, depression, and irritability. Bananas increase serotonin levels and endorphins, so it's a double whammy there. We have berries, which are high in antioxidants. These have been shown to actually help with mood disorders. And lastly, coffee and green tea. They contain a compound that can actually fuel and stimulate your endorphins too. Now, moving on to the intangibles, endorphins, we really want to make sure we're doing positive things to boost those feel-good endorphins. So maybe not that scary movie like I mentioned before, but other things that can be really helpful are laughter, essential oils. So if you're smelling essential oils or using essential oils, they can help to boost your endorphins. Movement that feels good for you, like running, walking, etc. And then, of course, making your own list on endorphin boosting activities. Maybe you do want to try something a little bit scary, but not too scary. So maybe something like rock climbing, or trying an activity that you've not done before, like painting or pottery making, different things like that. They're all fantastic, intangible ways, those practical daily activities that can help to boost your endorphins. So we've gone over the 4 happy hormones. We're using that acronym DOSE to help us to remember them. We have dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins. And we've looked at the tangibles as well as the intangibles that can be really helpful for boosting them. Remembering that the tangibles are related to the nutrition piece and the intangibles are related to daily practices that can help to boost those 4 happy hormones. And that's basically how you can hack your happy hormones on a daily basis. What did you learn today that really surprised you about the happy hormones? Were you really interested in the nutrition piece or the daily practices? I'd love to hear from you. Make sure to leave a comment below. And of course, if you want to learn more about hormones and mental health, then make sure to send me any questions, comments, and concerns so I can reply to you and give you the information that you need so you can always have positive mental health through the practices and through the nutrients that you're consuming on a daily basis. Okay, guys, hope you have an amazing rest of your Wellness Wednesday, and I'll talk to you very, very soon. Bye.